Hello to my fellow history lovers and people that think if I learn something new, it will be a good day. I'm going to share an astonishing story with you today. It turns out the guy who was up for the same job as General George Washington, i.e. leader of the entire Continental Army, was imprisoned at one point during the Revolutionary War, and to get himself out of it, wrote an entire plan to General Howe, the British, about how they could beat the Americans, destroy the Congress, and get rid of Washington, basically. And this won't be found until long after his death. So he's released from prison, and Washington still thinks he's the good guy and returns him to command. And then some possibly shady stuff happens after that. So let's learn about this guy. It was a really interesting story. So his name is Charles Lee, and he had fought for the British. He was a British officer in the French and Indian War, and in fact had also hired himself out to the Portuguese. So when the American Revolution starts, he's got more military experience than most people, and he really thought he would get the job, like he was going to be the leader. Honestly, so did John Hancock a little bit. He also thought he should get this position, but the Congress looked at Hancock and thought, hey, you don't have a whole lot of military experience. They looked at other people too. But they looked at Charles Lee, who had a lot of military experience, but they were a little concerned about temperament and character, in part because his nickname, within the Mohawk Nation, where he had allies within that group, called him boiling water, and that was a little bit of a clue. You know, I've often said I have such respect for Washington, and one of it is his temperament. But anyway, so Charles Lee, he's already kind of frothing at the mouth that he doesn't get the good job, so to speak. And then into the war, he will get arrested. And the scene, I'll put it below, is his famous arrest at this tavern. He is going to spend almost 16 months under arrest, and he was supposedly terrified at all times that he would be executed. And that's because there was sort of this gray area of, was he just an enemy soldier, or was he a traitor to the British because he had been a British officer? And he worried a lot. And so maybe that's why he wrote his famous letter, Mr. Lee's plan, about this, hey, General Howe, this is how you can beat the Americans and beat Washington. And I'm actually going to we'll have to do this in two parts. I'll read to you from his actual letter, and we'll do that in part two. And then you'll see what happens after he gets released from prison.